Hi, welcome to Down the Track on InView TV. My name's Bruce Mott, I'm your host, and on today's show we have three-time World Funny Car Champion Ron Capps joining me. Looking forward to this, want to hear what it's like to be a three-time world champion. I'm sure he's very excited, he's been very busy with media interviews and catching up with people, celebrating a great win in a great year. Let's bring on Ron now and hear all about it. Hey Ron, how are you?
Good, Bruce. How are you?
Very good, very good. So as I mentioned opening the show, three-time world champion, first in 2016, I think after about 20 years of trying. Then last year, 2021 with Don Shoemaker, your last season at DSR. And then this season, 2022, your first season as a team owner, the new Toyota body, and you go and win the title right down to the last race of the season. A fantastic achievement. How does that make you feel? I want to bring up some footage of those 3 years and just talk us through it and the emotions you were going through at the time.
Well, we won the 2016 World Championship, which was it was cool because we clinched it on Saturday night, so we didn't have to go through the drama, that goes on Sunday like we just had actually. But I've seen well, so many historic, crazy, crazy endings, especially at Pomona. And I didn't, although the first championship that you're showing footage there, I didn't want to have to go through that. It was nice to not worry about Sunday. 2021, we won the championship, and obviously it ended on Sunday. And then this year we had to come from behind. And so I think we've done it differently every single time. And so it's exciting now. It's great to look back on, but my gosh, what to wake up Sunday morning, know you got a shot at winning a championship, but mathematically we really had to overcome quite a bit, and to pull it off was crazy.
And which year was the most satisfying for you?
Man, looking back at your footage, I mean, the Mellow Yellow Championship in 2016 was pretty darn cool. That footage there of waiting to see what was going to happen. We had lost, so my fate was in some other hands. And to watch Alexis go out, who's now my Toyota teammate, and beat Hagan, he would have had to gone on and win the whole race, which was quite possibly, it's a great team, and they could have done it. That was another great, great moment. More relief than anything else right there, as you can see. This year, as a team owner and driver, I think it's probably a little more gratifying. And it really hasn't sunk in. I've been doing media constantly since then, and now talking to you, it's kind of fun to do these interviews and remind myself of what we accomplished. It was pretty cool.
And this year, as you said, team owner and with the new Toyota body, I'd imagine Toyota must be absolutely ecstatic how the season went.
Yeah, we didn't get the body, the new GR Supra body, until our Charlotte race, but we did win Vegas 4-wide. That was my first as a team owner. First as our brand new, sponsor, but we didn't have the Toyota body on it. But we were already having access to the engineers, and we could always see a glimpse already of how good this really was to put this deal together and have Toyota join us. They were instrumental already to get us that first win, and then to go on and win Bristol the first for that GR Super body. My teammates Alexis and of course Dale Worsham. And then the Coletta group with J.R. Todd and the DHL team were very, very helpful. So it was big. Bristol was huge to get a first win for them, for Slugger and for Paul Dolezal and all the people at Toyota. I talked to you before about how emotional it was when Toyota said that they were going to come on board with me in the offseason and being a new team owner to take a chance on me. Really not knowing what was going to happen. And it was so nice to give that back to them.
I bet it was. We just saw there the final race of this season, and I heard on another interview you're in two minds whether you're going to actually go for a full pull down the track or whether you're going to play it a bit safe, because there was that possibility you could get penalised if you crossed the centre line. And I heard that you're still in the car, you were practically just completed your burnout and you're still making up your mind what you were going to do.
Yeah, I talked to Dale Worsham. Of course, we had a closed-door meeting right after the semifinals. Theoretically, we were the champions, but they couldn't hand us the crown yet because there was a chance and it's a silly rule. It was brought up because a lot of people were having problems driving the funny car, especially the laid-back header days. and a lot of cars were crossing the center line after the 1,000 foot, but before the quarter mile. And pretty much everybody thought about the rule and thought it was gone. Until I was reminded, I didn't realize it was a points deduction. So did a lot of other teams. So with that being said, I don't think we'll see that rule next year. But at a closed door meeting, my first as a team owner with my crew chiefs and Guido and those guys, John Medlin, and just said, "Drive it. You're been doing this long enough. You'll know when something's wrong." I said, "Not really, because these funny cars are the most evil handling cars there are." So I talked to Del Worsham as well, and again, like you said, I didn't even know. I was staging the car, got to do a long burnout, and I thought, man, Guido, right before we started it, said he was going to try to go even quicker than our number one qualifying run. He was going to try to run 382, and if it all worked out, the conditions were just as good. Quite possibly, it could go 340 miles an hour, and we weren't going to see these conditions again until next year. So I'm staging the car thinking, oh man, it would be so cool to end this weekend with a win. But also, how about trying to go 340 miles an hour and go a low 380, which would have been pretty cool. So anyway, all those things together, as I'm staging the car and not cross the center line, I made a mistake of moving towards the wall to be absolutely sure I wasn't going to go over the center line. Otherwise, we could have given Cruz a better run for his money. He made a great run, so I'm not saying we could have beat him, but if it would have all stuck and I would have kept it in the middle and not been paranoid, we might have.
Who knows what it would have been, but not surprising that you just took a little bit of the cautious approach. Who wouldn't when you got the World Championship on the line? Of course, 2022 brought another great milestone for you, winning Indy for the first time. How did that feel?
Unbelievable. Again, I just did media the other day and they brought that up. And if you've never won a championship, you're still introduced as a drag racer. If you've won Indy, you're still introduced into a room. You're introduced on stage as an Indianapolis U.S. Nationals winner. It's that big. It's as big as championships. And so at that time, to finally check that one off the list, because that was the last race on the circuit that I had yet to win, the U.S. Nationals. So now with that win, it also gave me a win on every single race. I'm not sure how big that list is, but that's a pretty good accomplishment. And to win the All-Star race and all the money that came with it on the call-out, and then to go on and win the championship on top of it was just nuts. So it's just been, again, you couldn't script that any better as far as how our season went.
And I guess with the season now over, you look to 2023, and I don't assume you got much downtime. You've probably already started your preparations. There are going to be some changes in the team with John Medlin retiring, and good luck to his retirement. So what's the plans there? Will you go to market to bring on another crew chief, or will you promote within? What's the plans?
Yeah, we're gonna promote within. I just talked to Guido actually a few minutes ago, and we're already discussing what we're going to do. And I think there's the person we're moving up is very well deserved. He's been our car chief for a long time. We've got a great crew. We have several that luckily we have that kind of talent that we could move up. But Guido's excited about teaching the person we're moving up. It's big shoes to fill, but John's going to be a phone call away if we need anything. And then we'll bring somebody else in the team to join. One thing as a team owner, as a guy that worked on these cars before I drove, first and foremost, you have to have somebody that can get along with everybody on the team. A lot of days on the road, a lot of travel, a lot of nights spent together. So I don't care how talented a team is. If you have guys that don't get along, it won't last very long, and you won't have that good camaraderie. And more so, really, you got to have people that want to be around each other, and we have that group. It's a very, very fun pit area to walk into, both as a driver and an owner now. And I love that. I love that our guys hang out with each other after the races are over. Not too many teams do that. So I'm very excited about starting next year and having our team grow a little bit.
So what does excite you the most out of 2023 looking forward?
Man, I think moving a person into John Medlin's role, that excites me. Obviously, having the number one on the car. Before I got on with you, I was looking at some drawings for our 2023 possible paint schemes, and the big number one on the car is so cool. I keep forgetting we're going to have that on the car again, and that is a feather in the cap. It is so neat to roll that car into staging lanes at the beginning of next year at the Gator Nationals and have that number one on the car. It's an incredible thing that we did. So that's probably the most exciting, and it's really the first year I just bought the trucks and trailers, so I'll be the proud owner of some new rigs. They're not new, but I'm buying the rigs that we had and going to buy some equipment and some cars and parts, and that's going to be a first, really, for me, trying to expand our team with a little better parts, and it's going to be a lot of fun trying to navigate that.
So the winner's check's been spent already then, by the sound of it.
Yes and no. It is going to be spent, and boy, it sure helped. The Ron Capps Motorsports, it's obviously we're going to try to repeat, and we're going to have to make sure that we got all the right stuff together and right parts, and we got the right people already. And so I'm excited about spending that money in that manner and growing our team a little bit.
We mentioned briefly before about Toyota being a supporter and a partner of you. What have they brought to Ron Capps Motorsports?
Oh, I especially my social media, I'm very, very happy and very proud with our partners. Even the smallest sticker on the car mean a lot to us, and I've always felt that way. But as just a paid driver, it didn't seem like it meant as much, and I've really grown. A lot with some of these partners, and I had so many of them that came on board because they wanted to be a part of this venture of me going out and being a team owner. Some of them weren't on Don Schumacher's cars prior. Some were, but were more excited about being involved with what I was doing, and that sometimes would get emotional that somebody would want to be a part, not knowing what the outcome was. And a lot of them I had long-term relationships with, so that's why I like to really spread it around and put these posts out on my social media, because in our interviews on national television, you don't get to mention them all the time. And that's the great thing about social media nowadays, is it gets just as many viewers. And so I love the social media team we have, and I'm able to sort of send a lot of love and thank yous out to all of our partners.
Okay, just a couple of things I want to raise before we go, Ron. The NHRA banquet the other night. Apparently you and Tony Stewart had a private chat, and he's mentioned something that excites you next year. Are you able to give any hints away, or do we have to wait for Tony to make that announcement?
Yeah, I got to let Tony. I called him out of my speech a little bit, and we had talked about it before. And I've known Tony a long time, well before he came over here, and I'd driven his dirt races and some of his dirt cars with him. So I've known him a long time. We've always joked about getting him in a funny car, and he always said no, which tells you the respect he has for a funny car, and the fact that we got to watch him jump in Leah's Top Fuel dragster a few times and take to it like a duck to water. Not surprising, because he's one of the best there is in the history of auto racing, but we'll have to let him make the announcement. After I called him out in the speech, we had a couple beers and we were chatting, and he said, "All right, I'm going to do it." So I'll let him tell all the media when it's his time what he's going to do next year. It's going to be very exciting. I'm very pumped for it.
It sounds like it. And of course, he nearly had that win in Top Alcohol Dragster, his first time competing in drag racing, and at 0.0002 of a second he missed out winning by. So he's obviously got a pedigree just to drive whatever he can get into. He's just very, very good at.
Yeah, definitely. That was fun to watch.
All right, I said it last time I spoke to you. I'm going to say it again this time. I'm hoping we can get you to Australia one time and jump in the Big Show funny cars. I know you've down here before raced with the nostalgia cars with Graham Cowan. But we've got some Big Show funny cars started a new series down here. They're actually racing over the quarter mile, so I don't know how you feel about going back to quarter mile, but hopefully one day you can get down here and jump in one of those cars.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, I'd like to go again. I had a blast with all the people who worked with Graham, and we were there at Sydney Dragway, and yeah, I would definitely love to go back. I race the March Meet every year in nostalgia cars and fuel altereds, and so I love jumping in and going a quarter mile once or twice a year.
Oh, great. Oh, glad to hear that. All right. Thanks for being on the show, Ron. I know you're a busy man. Thanks very much again. I look forward to seeing you racing again in 2023. I look forward to seeing NHRA continue to grow as it appears to do this year. and as far as the attendances at the track and the TV coverage it was getting. So can't wait for 2023 and see how Ron Capps Motorsports performs again. Thanks again for joining us.
You bet. Thanks for having me.